Out of the gates and ready to go. Welcome into this live edition of the Kansas City Chiefs Report, powered by Chat Sports. Tyler Schultz here with you. Thanks for joining us. Coming up on today's show, we'll go over the latest news and rumors on your Kansas City Chiefs as the trade rumblings are heating up after some big moves in the NFL today. Davante Adams no longer a Raider. Ha, 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 ha. Take that, Raiders. Amari Cooper no longer a member of the Browns. He is in Buffalo. Just great. We will discuss some potential moves the Chiefs could be making. We'll go over some updated trade targets. We'll also preview the Chiefs matchup against the San Francisco 49ers. And we'll do a Q&A mailbag coming up later in today's show. Use hashtag Chiefs or Super Chat to get on today's program. As you guys file in, shout out your city. We'll shout you out as we get this show off and rolling. Sorry for the delay, folks. Had a little bit of technical difficulties, but nonetheless, we are here and we are fired up to get this show started here on this fine Tuesday afternoon. Thanks for being here with us. We're coming at you from the Chat Sports Studios here in downtown Dallas, Texas on this Tuesday. Myself, Big Tex, is also here on the ones and twos. Let us know where you're at. Tony's in El Paso. Ty Man, the Buckeyes in Ohio. Got JJ in Hillsboro, Oregon. Got Taylor checking in from Washington. I got Tony in El Paso. Kevin is in Germany. Kevin, are you in East Germany or West Germany? Jorge, hip, hip, Jorge, in downtown KC Mo. I got Ashley in Cali. Got Josh in Pittsburgh. Got William in Missouri. I got Richard in Kansas. I got Katie in Mountain Home, Arkansas. Got Terrence in Rock Island, Illinois. Flip is already calling for T. Higgins. We got Michael in the Philippines. I got Chiefs again in Los Angeles. I got Trey in Cape Coral, Florida. And then I see Terry already getting some questions in for the mailbag. Much appreciated. Anthony is in Honolulu, Hawaii. Got Trey King in Cape Coral. Got Flip in California. Tony, good to see you back here last week. Not sure why we had the technical issues with you, but nonetheless, good to see you in the chat, man. I got Terry in Kansas City, Kansas, checking in from the Dot in Wyandotte County. I got John in St. Joe, Missouri. Craig also checking in from St. Joe, the home of Chiefs training camp. Kevin clarified he's in West Germany. Very good to see you. I got Anthony. Skipped surfing today to hang out with us. Hey, this is going to be a better time than surfing. I can guarantee you that. Got Jorge from KCK. Greg says bring back MVS by Sky. Maybe don't bring back MVS. And Alejandro is in Chicago. I got Vicky in Agency, Missouri. Who's a player the Chiefs should trade for? We're talking plenty of Chiefs trade rumors today. Want you guys to tell us who you think they should make a move to add. Give us a couple names and let us know who in the comments section that is that you would like to see become a new member of the Kansas City Chiefs before the trade deadline coming up on November 5th. I got Josh says Calvin Ridley. RB says Richard in South Dakota. Chiefs again says Mike Evans. Williams says T. Higgins. Keep letting us know. Angelo says Deontay Johnson. Today's show is sponsored by Game Time. Game Time is the place to go for the best seats, the lowest prices guaranteed. Whether you're looking for tickets to sporting events, concerts, theater productions, comedy shows, and more, Game Time's got you covered. Game Time is a new feature called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets to see your favorite teams play live even easier. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals and great seats. You don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. They have their super deals. If you get a super deal, that's going to be one you don't want to pass up on. They have their seat views and get the visual, see what that seat is like. Your purchase is covered with the most flexible customer service policy in the ticketing industry. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code ChatSports, $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem code, CHATSPRTS, $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game Time. The link is in the comments and the description of today's video. Got 125 people watching already. If you want a shout-out from Big Tex, then spam C in the chat. Let's see who's going to be the early favorite to be MVP of today's show. Who's going to spam C the most over this next minute? All right, see Tony getting started. Let's get this thing rolling. Here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Guillermo, Ethan, Tony, Jorge, Ashley, Flip, Guillermo, Ethan, Katie, Jorge, Guillermo, Ashley, Tony, James, Ethan, Hart, JJ, Jorge, Guillermo, Ethan, Anthony, Richard, Angelo, James, Richard, Theme Park, Kevin, JJ, James, Richard, Jorge, Vicky, Richard, JJ, Richard, Guillermo, JJ, Flip, Richard, Terrence, Anthony, James, Richard, James, Jorge, James, Angelo, Tony Fuentes, what's up, my man?
20
Anthony,
seconds to go. Keep going.
JJ,
Faster, faster.
Richard, Anthony, Angelo, JJ, Jorge, James, Anthony, Ethan, Jorge, Ashley, James, Ethan, James, Angelo, Jorge, Angelo, Tony,
5.
Ethan, James, JJ, Jorge, Angelo, Jorge, JJ, Ethan, Anthony. Good stuff.
Nice work, everybody. At 35 likes right now, I need to get to 50 to get today's show officially started. If you love your Kansas City Chiefs, if you're glad the bye week is over, that we got Chiefs football back this week, then do your part. Like the video. We'll get this thing started here on this Wednesday afternoon. We're at 36 likes. I need 50 to get this thing going here on this Tuesday afternoon. And when you like the video, let me know in the chat. I'll shout out everybody that likes the video. I need 11 more to get this thing started. I can always count on Tony. That's the first thing he does is he hits the like button when he gets in here. JJ liking the video as well. Thank you, JJ. Much appreciated for that. Guillermo liking the video. Keep on going. Ashley liked the video as well. 6 more, and we'll get started. Sammy liked the video. Thank you, Sammy. Braxton also doing his part as well. 6 away from starting today's show. And while I wait on those 6, I need one more. Ethan did his part. Here's what's on the Super Chat menu today. If you would like to contribute, support the work we're doing, bringing you free Chiefs content, send us a Super Chat. $ below the chat box. The Super Chats will get priority on the mailbag. We'll answer those questions first. First-time Super Chatters get the KC chant. $5 Super Chat will do the Mahomes song. $10 Super Chat will take some shots. $20 Super Chat we'll get Bean Boozled with the spicy jelly bean. $50 Super Chat, we will do a beer bong. $ next to the chat box if you'd like to contribute and be a part of today's show and get those questions in on the mailbag. Certainly could use a lot of questions, whether you're Super Chatting us or if you're using the hashtag Seahawks or hashtag Chiefs. Either one, we got you covered there. Coming up on today's show, the latest news and rumors on your Kansas City Chiefs. Also, we'll preview the Chiefs matchup against the 49ers. We're going to go over an updated list of blockbuster trade targets for Kansas City as well. And then we'll do a Q&A mailbag before we wrap up. Hashtag Chiefs or Super Chat to get on the mailbag portion of the show. Without further ado, let's go ahead and get started with our first segment, our news and rumors that's coming up first. And then we'll continue from there. Glad to have you with us. Thanks for being here on this fine Tuesday afternoon. Jonesy and Big Tex here with you. Glad to be hanging out with the Jonesers today here on the channel. Let's go ahead and get this thing started. We begin with our news and rumors starting right now. Coming up on today's show, could the Chiefs make a trade within the division for Maxx Crosby? We will explore that possibility coming up in just a matter of moments. Also, Haason Reddick is officially on the trade block now as he's been given permission to seek a trade. We'll go over that idea and what it would take to potentially bring him to Kansas City coming up in just a matter of moments. Tyler Jones here with you. Thanks for joining us here on the program today. We're talking about some big moves on today's show. If you want the Chiefs to make a big move, an earth-shattering move, like the video. I need at least 300 likes on today's video. If you want to see the Chiefs move heaven and earth, do your part, like the video, and we'll get started with today's show. Maxx Crosby, could he be on his way to Kansas City? That is not a discussion I was expecting to have within the last few days, but then the Raiders dealt Davante Adams, and now they could be potentially blowing everything else up from here. And I'll say this. When we talked about the potential idea of trading for Davante Adams within the last few weeks, the point that I continued to tell you guys was that I thought that there was no way in hell that the son of Al Davis would even consider making a trade with the arch rival Kansas City Chiefs, who are trying to defend 2 straight Super Bowl titles, to give up one of his best players. But now that they've already moved on from Davante, and there's rumblings that they could keep going, is Max Crosby a possibility for Kansas City? Let's tell you what you needed to know. On Tuesday, the Raiders, after the loss to the Bills, the Jets were awarded the services of Davante Adams via trade from Las Vegas. They gave up a 3rd-round pick to make the deal happen. And now the Raiders could be in full sell mode before the trade deadline of just kind of dumping off everything at this point to position themselves to have flexibility when it comes to draft capital, and also the possibility to potentially move up in the draft if they need to go find a young franchise quarterback. Max Crosby is currently in the 2nd year of a 4-year, $94 million deal. For a player of his caliber, that is pretty reasonable, actually, the contract that he's on for one of the best players in the league at his position. And if he were to come to Kansas City, he would certainly make quite the difference, as the Chiefs are currently ranked 29th in the NFL in sack percentage at 5.08%, despite the pass rushers the Chiefs have with Chris Jones, George Karlaftis, and others. They have not done a good job at getting after the quarterback, and Max Crosby could be the solution they're looking for. He's coming off a season where he had a career high of 14.5 sacks in 2023. If the Raiders are willing to make a move, the Chiefs would be the perfect fit to take Max Crosby to new heights that he's never seen before. When you talk about competing for a title, and also the fact that if he's on this Chiefs team, because you have those other guys like Chris Jones and George Karlaftis, you can't really double team Max Crosby. He's still going to have the openings to succeed. He would be just as successful, if not more successful, on the football field than he's been in Las Vegas, and he would be getting to contend for a championship. It sounds like a really good fit for Kansas City. Crosby, a 2-time second-team All-Pro as recently as last season, 3-time Pro Bowler from 2021 to 2023, and he's off to a very good start to this season with the Raiders, despite the Raiders off to a slow start with 5.5 sacks in the first 5 games of the season. And you can see he's gotten better each and every year that he's been in the NFL. 8 sacks in 2021, 12.5 in 2022, 14.5 in 2023, and 5.5 already this year. Now, I'll say this. If the Chiefs were to make this type of move, this would be a move that wouldn't be just about the short term and about the Chiefs getting back there to winning the Super Bowl this year. This would be a long-term play for a guy in Max Crosby that's still very young, just 27 years old, and could be a cornerstone piece for this franchise for a very long time. It would be very costly, though, to make this happen. I think the Chiefs have no interest whatsoever in giving the Raiders 2 first-round picks as what's being rumored out there of what the Raiders are looking for. I don't know anybody that's going to give them 2 first-round picks. At best, the Chiefs, I think, could give up a first, a second, and a third. And after that, they say, yeah, that's all we're doing. That's our best offer potentially. I think it's highly unlikely that the Chiefs make a move for Max Crosby because of the factors we mentioned, the assets you'd have to give up in addition to how much you would have to pay him, and then also the intra-division trade is unlikely, but it's not impossible. Should the Chiefs trade for Max Crosby? Type T for trade, P for pass. Weigh in. Let us know what you think, if they should make a move or not. Folks, you got to subscribe to the Kansas City Chiefs Report if you haven't already. We're bringing you daily news and rumors, live shows every Tuesday, watch parties on game days. We also have our interactive Q&A mailbags. It's all in one place right here on the Kansas City Chiefs Report. If you are a diehard Chiefs fan, this is the channel for you. Help us reach our next milestone of 60,000 subscribers. We're so close, but we need your help to get there. Subscribe now for free, youtube.com/ChiefsTV. Let's talk about Haason Reddick now, as we have some interesting new developments when it comes to the New York Jets edge rusher. Friend of mine, Diana Rossini from The Athletic, she put this out on Tuesday morning, saying the Jets have given Hassan Reddick and his reps a short window to seek a trade per sources. His new representation, Drew Rosenhaus, has been reaching out to teams over the last 12 hours to gauge interest. And this is different from the situation just a few weeks ago when the Jets were very vocal that they were not looking to trade Hassan Reddick, that they expected him to come back. And now they've told him, hey, we've changed coaches. You got a new agent. You can go seek a trade. We'd like to have you back. But they're potentially looking to get some draft capital back after giving up assets to go get Davante Adams. And when you look at the factors involved in this trade, the New York Jets are more likely to trade to an AFC team than an NFC team, which is usually not what we talk about in these trade scenarios of trying to get guys out of the way, out of your division, out of your conference so you can have less competition. But this is a different story. Listen to this from Josina Anderson of CBS. New and other Jets headlines, I'm told the Eagles will get a 2026 second-round pick from the Jets if Hassan Reddick gets traded to an NFC team per multiple sources. That's the other condition involved in the trade for Reddick to the Jets that was newly reported in the tweet 2 weeks ago. I'm looking at a potential trade where if the Jets were to bring Hassan Reddick to the Kansas City Chiefs, I think that the Chiefs would be giving up just a 2025 third-round pick. That's all you're looking at, where the Jets would give up a 2025 third-round pick. They'd be receiving a 2025 third-round pick. And if you're the Chiefs, I think you can live with that, and you'd be feeling much better about where this team is going from here. Should the Chiefs trade for Hassan Reddick? Type Y for yes, in for no. Way in the comment section. Tell us what you think if they should make a trade or not. Today's show is sponsored by Game Time. Game Time is the place to go for the best seats, the lowest prices guaranteed. Whether they're looking for tickets to sporting events, concerts, theater productions, comedy shows, and more, Game Time has got you covered. Maybe it's tickets to a Chiefs game. Maybe you're looking to go see sport in Kansas City or the KC Current. All sorts of different options for you. You choose the event you want to go to. They got the prices listed. You choose your seat, see if you like that seat or not, and then you're checking out on Game Time. With Apple Pay, Google Pay, Venmo, all major credit card providers. Game Time is a new feature called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets to see your favorite teams play live even easier. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats. You don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. They have their super deals. If you see a super deal, that's going to be one you don't want to pass up on. They also have their seat views. You can get the visual, see what your seat is like. Your purchase is covered with the most flexible customer service policy in the ticketing industry. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code ChatSports for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CHATSPORTS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game Time. The link is in the comments and the description of today's video. More on Hassan Reddick. Reddick is coming off a couple of seasons, where he's been playing his best football of his career. A second-team All-Pro selection in 2022, a two-time Pro Bowler, also was the NFL's forced fumbles co-leader in 2022. And this guy was very successful with the Philadelphia Eagles. He was a key piece to their Super Bowl team that lost to the Chiefs in 2022 with 16 sacks. Followed that up last year with 11 sacks. And you think about this. Whether it's Hassan Reddick or whether it's Max Crosby, the Chiefs are a few weeks away from this trade deadline and sitting here in a position of strength. You're the defending champs. You're sitting at 5-0. You don't have to do anything necessarily. You don't even have to make a move if you don't want to. But Brett Veach, he's always playing chess when everyone else is playing checkers. We've seen that time and time again. In Veach, we trust, right? Just because the Chiefs don't necessarily need to make a move because they're still winning football games, even when they're not playing great, they're undefeated, and they still look to be fine, even with the injuries that have piled up and all that. But that doesn't mean that Veach won't do something. Don't dismiss the idea that Veach is looking to be aggressive and add a big-time player here soon. The truth of the matter is simply this. The The pass rush for this Kansas City Chiefs team has to improve. The results we've seen from this group to start the season, they've underperformed across the board. Chris Jones leads the team in sacks with 3, Wharton with 1.5, Connor with 1. Some of the others there. Like, where the hell has George Karlaftis been? What about King Felix and all the talk we heard about him with what he did in training camp and all that? The Chiefs should expect more out of these guys. And if you add a Max Crosby, if you add a Haason Reddick, that'll make everybody else better in theory, you would think. If you had to pick one to trade for, would you do the massive trade for Max Crosby or would you trade for Haason Reddick? Which one would you lean towards? I'm not doing the all things created equal here. We showed you both scenarios. Which one do you like better? Type Max for Max Crosby. Type HR. Go to HR. If you want Haason Reddick, type HR in the comment section. Let us know. If you enjoyed today's show, like the video. We certainly would appreciate it. Send a message to Brett Veach that you want to make a move, and we'll see you next time here on the Chiefs Report. All right. One down. 3 to go. What? Yeah, we'll hit the super chat menu. What do you guys think? Eddie, I see your comment here. Did you not pay attention, Eddie, to these trades that have been going on today? Devontae Adams gets traded, Amari Cooper gets traded. If those guys are getting traded, then we got to talk about everything out there. We got to lay out every possibility. If the floodgates have opened on the trade market and a team like the Raiders is selling here, then we are not below that. We are not beneath typing, reacting to those possibilities. So, Eddie, I do not appreciate your comment. Don't be a dumbass. We're going to talk about these possibilities. Until something happens, if it's a possibility, then we're going to bring it up and we're going to talk about it. Simple as that. Deal with it. Super Chat menu. First-time Super Chatters get the KC chant. $5 Super Chat will do the Mahomes song. $10 Super Chat will take down some shots. $20 Super Chat get Bean Boozled with the spicy jelly bean. $50 Super Chat, we will do a beer bong. Up next, let's preview the Chiefs matchup against the 49ers. As we'll go over my keys to victory. We'll break down the injury report. We'll give you a prediction. All of that and more coming up in just a matter of moments. That's next here on the Kansas City Chiefs Report. Then we'll talk about some trade targets, then get to a mailbag before we wrap up. Let's preview Chiefs and Niners right now here on the Chiefs Report. It is Week 7 in the National Football League. The Kansas City Chiefs coming off a bye, and they are putting their perfect record on the line as they face the San Francisco 49ers in a rematch of last year's Super Bowl. The Niners have not looked great to start the season. They got a lot of problems, but they're looking for revenge, and they are slight favorites entering the game on Sunday afternoon. Favored by 1, the over-under set at 47.5. And historically speaking, no one is better coming off a bye than Andy Reid. Andy Reid is 21-4 all time coming off a bye, 8-3 in his time in Kansas City. He did suffer a loss last year after the bye week to the Philadelphia Eagles. So that was a little different, but history tells us that Andy's the best in these scenarios after giving guys a week off, resetting, and going forward from here. Are you ready for Chiefs game day? If you are, spam C in the comments section. I want to see as many C's as possible. This is our rallying cry here on the Chiefs Report. If you are excited for Chiefs football, you want to see a win on Sunday, spam C in the chat. I want to see no less than 300 C's, and we'll continue here on today's show. Let's start with the injury report for Kansas City, with several players, of course, on IR and on the injury list and all that. There's only one player from the Chiefs' active roster that is on the injury report. That would be defensive end Mike Dana, who is questionable for Sunday's game with a pec injury. Meanwhile, on the other side for the San Francisco 49ers, their injury report is quite lengthy. Charvarius Ward, former Chief, he is questionable with a knee injury, while Flanagan Flowers, a linebacker, also questionable. Jordan Elliott with a knee injury, he is questionable. Their kicker, Jake Moody, is doubtful with an ankle injury. Jordan Mason, who's been very good in place of Christian McCaffrey, he's questionable with an AC joint injury. Another kicker on the injury report, Matthew Wright, with a shoulder injury. And then safety Malik Mustafa with an ankle injury. He is questionable as well. So what's it going to take to beat the San Francisco 49ers? Let's go over our keys to victory for Kansas City. Number one is exposing Brock Purdy. I am of the belief, and I know some people aren't going to like this, but we're going to be real with y'all. I think that Brock Purdy is a decent quarterback, that he's good for San Francisco on the rookie deal. But I haven't personally seen enough from Brock Purdy to say that I would pay him to be my franchise quarterback. I think that would set that San Francisco 49ers team back. I think he is, you could call him a system quarterback, if you will. He is a byproduct of the system of Kyle Shanahan's offense there in San Francisco. And his skill set is very limited of what he can do. We've seen the good, the bad, and the ugly from Brock Purdy. He's had multiple interception games this season. I remember last year when he faced the Baltimore Ravens defense, he was picked off 4 times. I want to see this Kansas City Chiefs team expose Brock Purdy and show up and show out and tell us who he really is. Because his record, you think about, he's won a lot of football games since taking over as the starting quarterback for the San Francisco 49ers. 20-7 overall as a starting quarterback. He's got a 4-2 postseason record. Brock Purdy's won a lot of football games. But with that said, can the Chiefs do what they did in the Super Bowl and make enough plays for the rest of the world to see, hey, Brock Purdy is not actually an elite quarterback, that the media has tried to promote him to be this thing that he's really not? Who do you got? You going with the Chiefs or you going with the Niners? Type KC for Kansas City. Type SF for San Francisco. Get your predictions in now. Let us know what you think. We're going to be live here at the Chiefs Report for Chiefs and Niners coming up on Sunday afternoon. Our coverage begins at 3:25 p.m. Central Time. I'll be here. Big Tex will be here as we will react to the game in real time. We'll have a few drinks on hand. Should be an exciting one. You will not want to miss it. Chiefs and Niners live right here on the Chiefs Report. Turn on notifications. Subscribe now. That way you're the first to know when we go live with our play-by-play coverage. Chiefs and Niners coming up Sunday afternoon. We will see you then. Number 2 on our list, let's point our attention towards Juju Smith-Schuster. I'll be honest, when the Chiefs brought in Juju after the injury to Hollywood Brown, I was not expecting much out of Juju Smith-Schuster. Most people had thought that his better days were over with at this point in his career. But he comes back to Kansas City, and he has found new life. And the Chiefs' offense has been very desperate for receiving help with the injuries that have been suffered to Hollywood as well as Rashee Rice. And credit where credit's due to Juju Smith-Schuster for answering the call, for stepping up. Specifically what he did Week 5 against the New Orleans Saints with 7 catches for 130 yards. I want to see Juju continue to play at a high level and be a difference maker for this Chiefs team. I'm not saying he needs to be the go-to target necessarily, but they need to keep on. As long as he's got the hot hand, he needs to continue to be involved and be an impact player and be one of the go-to guys for Patrick Mahomes. Watch out. Let's see more of Juju on Sunday. Today's show is sponsored by Game Time. Game Time is the place to go for the best seats, the lowest prices guaranteed. Whether you're looking for tickets to sporting events, concerts, theater productions, comedy shows, and more, Game Time has got you covered, including tickets to see your Kansas City Chiefs. You choose the event you want to go to. They got the prices listed. You choose your seat, get the visual, see if you like that seat or not, and then you're checking out with Apple Pay, Google Pay, Venmo, all major credit card providers. Game Time is a new feature called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets to see your favorite teams play live even easier. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats. You don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. They have their super deals. If you see a super deal, you don't want to pass up on that. They also have their seat views, so you can get the visual, see what that seat is like. Your purchase is covered with the most flexible customer service policy in the ticketing industry. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code JATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem code, CHAT, SPORTS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game Time. The link is in the comments and description of today's video. So one of the things the Kansas City Chiefs have done such a good job of in the last couple of seasons, really since they moved on from Tyreek Hill, was changing their identity and becoming a run-first football team. And we wondered, all right, how much are the Chiefs going to still depend on the run game with the loss of Isaiah Pacheco? And you go to their first game without Pacheco. Carson Steele had a solid game, rushing for 70 yards. And then Kareem Hunt has been very good the last 2 weeks, and the game plan hasn't changed. This is still a run-first football team, and Kareem Hunt is doing an outstanding job leading the way in the run game. In his 2 games played, he had over 100 yards against the Saints. He's got 171 total yards. He's got a touchdown score. He's got a couple of catches as well. Keep on running the football, whether it's Kareem, whether it's Steele, maybe even a little Samaje Perine for that matter. The Chiefs need to keep it on the ground, use the run game to open up the passing game, and go from there. You look at the stats for the Chiefs rushing attack. They're currently 13th in rush play percentage. Their yards per rush needs to go up a bit towards the bottom of the league. They're running it about 30 times a game, which is very un-Andy Reid-like, but it's working. It's working, folks. Rushing yards per game, 16th in the league. Rushing touchdowns per game, 11th in the NFL. Keep on running the football. Run the damn ball. Who will be the Chiefs MVP against the 49ers? If you had to pick one name, who would it be and why? Get in that comment section. Get your predictions in, who you believe that will be. Number 4 on our keys to victory for Kansas City is starting fast. All gas, no brakes. Get in and get that thing going right away. Set the tone early for the rest of the game. Don't find yourself playing from behind. Because when you compare these two teams, a little give me that stat action for you here. Through 5 games, what we've seen so far from the Kansas City Chiefs, they have averaged about 3.4 points per game in the first quarter. So basically a field goal for every first quarter so far this season. That's not great. That's 23rd best in the NFL. And a big issue why has to do with their red zone offense, which has been a struggle to begin the season. Now, comparing to the other side, to the San Francisco 49ers, in contrast, the Niners in 6 games have had one of the best first quarter offenses, averaging about 6 points a game in the first quarter. That's 9th best in the NFL. So let's call it a touchdown. All right? If both teams play to their statistics, then you're looking at the Chiefs having to play from behind already after one quarter, potentially being down, 6-3, 7-3, whatever it may be. That's not ideal. You don't want to play from behind, especially on the road against a team that has this much talent, this much horsepower, like the San Francisco 49ers do. You look at the Chiefs' first quarter offense this season. They had 7 points against the Ravens. They were held to 3 points against the Bengals, had to come from behind to win that game. The Atlanta game, they were shut out in the first quarter. The Chargers game, they were shut out in the first quarter, had to come back from behind in that. And in the Saints game, they had 7 points, and they won that with ease. So this offense needs to do a better job of getting things going quicker in these football games so they don't have to dig themselves into a hole. You do have a quarterback in Patrick Mahomes that can get you out of those situations, but you're going to make life a lot easier on yourselves if you can come out of the gates firing and set that tone early. Last on our list of keys to victory, winning the turnover battle. And it goes to both sides. The Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes will be the first to tell you, they got to do a better job protecting the football. He is on a stretch right now of 10 straight regular season games with a turnover, which is the longest streak of his career. Chiefs got to do a better job protecting things offensively. But the defense needs to create more turnovers. That's been a theme from Spags and from Trent McDuffie and Nick Bolton and others throughout the offseason into training camp, but so far we haven't seen the results. You look at the turnover rankings from the Chiefs. Their turnover margin, they're 27th in the NFL. Giveaways, they're 25th in the league. Takeaways per game, they're towards the bottom at 24th at 0.8. And interception thrown percentage, Pat, I'm looking at you. 30th in the NFL at 3.75%. Yikes. Meanwhile, the other side, San Francisco 49ers, their turnover stats aren't bad. Turnover margin, 8th in the NFL. Giveaways per game, 17th. Takeaways per game, they sit at 6th in the NFL. A game like this, you don't want to be giving San Francisco any more extra possessions than you have to. Interception thrown percentage, they're in the top half of the league, 2.16% at 14th in the league. What is a key to victory to beating the 49ers? You've seen my keys to victory. Now I want to hear from you guys. Get in that comment section. Let us know what you think it's going to take down the Niners. To recap, our keys to a Chiefs win. Exposing Brock Purdy for the fraud he really is. More Juju Smith-Schuster. Need to see him continue to pick up from where he left off against New Orleans. Establish the run. Keep running the football with Kareem Hunt and company. Use the run to open up the passing game. Start fast. Don't want to play from behind and win the turnover battle. Get those extra possessions on defense, but protect the football on offense. If the Chiefs do all those things, I think they're going to be in great shape. I'm going to go with Kansas City to get a road win, 24-20, and advance to 6-0 on the season. Andy Reid, the best when it comes off a bye. I think he gets another this week. If you're ready for a Chiefs win, if you want to see them get the job done this weekend, spam W in the comment section. Let's see all the W's if you're ready for a Chiefs win, and we'll see you next time right here on the channel. All right. We are halfway home. Up next, we're talking trade targets, and then we will do a Q&A mailbag before we wrap up here. Who do you got, KC or San Fran? Big Tex here with me. Tex, what do you think heading into Sunday's game here?
I think I'm going to go with the Chiefs. I know that the Niners have started off rough, and I think that trend is going to continue against, like you said, the Chiefs haven't played their best ball, but they're undefeated. And they found ways to win, and I think they're going to continue that pattern this weekend, and they're going to knock off the Niners.
I know the Niners are coming in hungry. Mm-hmm. I get that. You know, They got something to prove. Mm-hmm. But, I mean, there's just nobody better off a bye week than Andy Reid.
No, Andy Reid's arguably the greatest NFL coach off a bye week, like you said. I'm not a betting man, but if I was going to bet on that, I'm definitely taking the Chiefs for that.
Everybody in the chat going with the Chiefs. Everybody's on the same page. Love to see it.
Okay.
All right. Let's shift gears now. Let's talk trade targets. I got 5 players who the Chiefs could potentially trade for at 5 different positions. Getting a little creative. Then we'll do our Q&A mailbag. Keep getting in your questions. Use hashtag Chiefs or Super Chat if you want to get on the mailbag portion of the show. Tony, Ty Man, Anthony, Paul, Michael, Ashley, I want to see all of you get in on this mailbag segment that we'll be bringing you here in just a few moments. Use hashtag Chiefs or Super Chat for the mailbag portion of today's show. I'm going to take one more sip of water, and then we'll get to our segment here. All right. Without further ado, let's go ahead and get started and talk about trade targets for the Kansas City Chiefs. That begins right now. Big move coming. That's what we're talking about here on this edition of the Kansas City Chiefs Report. Tyler Jones here. Thanks for joining us. I got 5 potential trade targets for the Kansas City Chiefs ahead of the NFL trade deadline coming up on November 5th. Could we see Kansas City make a blockbuster move? We will dissect everything you need to know and talk about some potential fits for Kansas City on today's show. Thanks for joining us. Before we go any further, though, folks, between now and kickoff, between our game with the San Francisco 49ers, we are in a sub-battle with our 49ers report. Chase Sr., host of the 49ers report, good guy, good friend, but I would love nothing more than to absolutely destroy Chase Sr. and the San Francisco 49ers. We need to show why we have the best fans in the NFL. We want to beat the Niners, not just on the football field, but off the football field as well. For daily Chiefs coverage, live shows, watch parties on game days, daily news and rumors, breaking news, Q&A mailbags, and more, you got to be subscribed to the Chiefs Report. Subscribe now for free, youtube.com/ChiefsTV. Let's start with a big one here, folks. Budda Baker, Budda. The safety from the Arizona Cardinals And I'll say this would be more of a luxury than a necessity at this point in time. I think that when we look at the safety room for Kansas City, it's pretty solid. But if a guy like Budda Baker is sitting out there available potentially for a trade, it's hard to ignore a guy of this magnitude. Budda Baker already off to a decent start to this season. He's had 60 tackles, 3 TFLs, and his resume is fantastic. He's been to multiple Pro Bowls. He's got a chance to potentially be a Hall of Famer someday. You go back to his statistics in 2022, had 2 interceptions, 111 tackles, 1 tackle for loss. There's no doubt in my mind that if you were to trade for Budda Baker, then this could be a difference maker for this Chiefs team, that you would see a significant uptick in how good that safety room looks, adding him in with Cook and Reed and others, and the flexibility it could provide, potentially to play some 3 high safety looks. Budda Baker, I'm intrigued by this possibility. Your chance to be Brett Veach should the Chiefs trade for Budda. It's our pinned comment today. You might get an ad break while the ad's playing. Get your votes in. Let us know. Type T for trade, P for pass if you think the Chiefs should trade for Budda or not. Let's go to New York now. New York! That's where we find Mike Williams, the wide receiver for the New York Jets. The Jets have been very active the last week or so, firing Robert Saleh, trading for Devontae Adams, and Mike Williams appears to be the odd man out. Dun, 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 dun. This is a cheap option for the Kansas City Chiefs for a need for this team that comes, I think, if you're looking for bargain buys, and that's what Brett Veach is the best at doing, is finding guys that you wrote off at one point and getting them for peanuts, essentially, and then having an impact. Remember last year, Chiefs made a trade with the Jets for Mecole Hardman. And then what do you know? Who had the game-winning catch in the Super Bowl? Mecole Hardman. And Oz the Mentalist told him ahead of time what was going to happen. That's exactly what was going to happen. You can't doubt Oz the Mentalist, by the way. I mean, if Oz tells you something, it's going to happen. And that's what happened to Mecole Hardman. I mean, the guy's a wizard. But anyways, back to Mike Williams anyway. Mike Williams, so far this season, his impact has been minimal. 10 catches, 145 yards, 14.5 yards of reception. But you think about it, you add him in the mix, who's to say that he can't do what Juju's doing right now? I know he'd be better than Mecole Hardman. And I think he'd be competing right up there with Justin Watson. Xavier Worthy still trying to find his footing. Mike Williams, I think, is a cheap solution that you could potentially get a lot out of and would be a lot better suited for what the Chiefs do than that lethargic New York Jets offense that's got so many problems there. I'd be very intrigued by that possibility of bringing in Mike Williams. More trade targets to talk about here in a moment, but first let's tell you about today's sponsor. That is Prize Picks. Prize Picks is the place to go for daily fantasy made easy. Here's how it works. Choose 2 or more players in any given category. Get the choice of more or less, whether you're talking fantasy points in football, rebounds in basketball, goals in hockey, home runs in baseball, all sorts of different categories to choose from. I'm looking ahead to Sunday, as I got our guy Kareem Hunt. They have more than 55.5 rushing yards. I got DK, touchdowns all day. They have more than 68.5 receiving yards. If I put $20 down and both these hit, that turns into $60 on Prize Picks. Play along with me, prizepicks.com/SailItS, promo code SailItS. And I got a great deal that I am offering you. Because I am a nice guy, I have decided that I will give you $50 through Prize Picks when you spend $5. In fact, you don't even have to win to get the money. It's that simple, folks. PrizePicks.com/SailItS, promo code SailItS to play along with us today. You'll be glad you did. Let's go to the corner position now. The much talked about corner position for the Kansas City Chiefs. Everybody and their mother, when there's a trade target at the corner position, points to the Kansas City Chiefs. And we have a new one now in Greg Newsome II. I like that he goes by the second and not Junior, by the way. Word to the wise, don't ever name your kid Junior. Nobody wants to be called a junior. Call him the second, like Greg Newsome II here. Lots of potential with Greg Newsome II. Greg Newsome is a fantastic football player, primarily plays the nickelback spot. And you think about it, Trip McDuffie's mostly been playing on the outside, moved him over from the nickelback spot where he was previously. He's kind of taken on L'Jarius Sneed's role, and they're still trying to find somebody that could take on McDuffie's old role, and Newsome would make a lot of sense. And you think about it, this Browns team is sitting here in a position where their season's essentially over. They've already moved on from Amari Cooper, and they've already showed they're not afraid to trade with some of the top teams in the American Football Conference, sending Amari Cooper to the Buffalo Bills. If you're Kansas City, why not give Cleveland a call to go get Greg Newsome II? I mean, he's going to be a lot more productive than Gavin Newsom, I can tell you that much. I think it makes a ton of sense. Which one would you rather trade for? Mike Williams, Greg Newsome II, or Gavin Newsom? I'm kidding. Mike Williams, type MW. Greg Newsome II, type GN. Which one would you choose? Weigh in, let us know in the comments section. Let's go to the defense now, and this is where we find edge rusher Azeez Ojulari from the New York Football Giants. And this is somebody that is a needle mover. All right? This guy is somebody that can be the difference between wins and losses. And he's already had an impact on this New York Football Giants team in 2024. I'll be real with y'all. This Giants team, they ain't very good. And Ojulari has played pretty fine. 3 sacks, 3 TFLs, 14 tackles. Have you seen the Chiefs sack numbers as of late? Newsflash. They ain't great. Ojulari, I think, could be a great fit and kind of wake everybody else up. Because George Karlaftis ain't doing anything right now. Chris Jones has looked fine. Everybody else has been sleeping. Everybody else has been sleepless in Kansas City. And Ojulari, I would be very, very fascinated with, and I don't think you'd have to give up a ton for him either. Another New York Football Giant, to conclude our list, is Evan Neal at the offensive tackle spot. The Chiefs find themselves very confused at offensive tackle right now, as Kingsley didn't play that great when he got the chance to start. Evan Neal could come in and play left or right tackle potentially. Wanya Morris has been okay. Jawan Taylor's been just atrocious. Gets called for more penalties than anybody in the NFL, and his PFF grades have been just awful. I know that Evan Neal's not that great, but he is a former first-round pick. There is some potential there, and the Giants aren't going to want much for him. What do you have to lose? At the worst-case scenario, this could be at least a decent depth piece potentially for Kansas City here. Why not take the chance on Evan Neal? The grades aren't great. I'm not going to tell you otherwise. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you. They aren't pretty. But why not? Give up a 6th, maybe 7th round pick, and at the very least have a backup offensive tackle that's got some potential. Take a chance. Sonny with a chance. Name a player the Chiefs should trade for. I've gone through my list. Now I want to hear from you. Give me a name that comes to mind. Way in the comment section. Let us know. For continuing Kansas City Chiefs coverage, subscribe now to the Chiefs Report. I'm Tyler Jones. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time. All right, mailbag coming up. Get your questions in. Hashtag Chiefs or Super Chat to get on the mailbag portion of the show. I see Tony's using hashtag Chiefs. Where are my other questions? Anthony, Michael, Bill, Devin, what are you waiting for? I don't got all day. I want to go home. Get your questions in so I can leave and get out of here. Use hashtag Chiefs or Super Chat, and we'll get to our mailbag segment here in just a bit. And then we'll wrap up from there. Big Tex, you like my Gavin Newsom reference there?
I did.
I heard you
did.
laugh in the background.
Yes, I had to make sure my mic was muted before I chuckled, but yes. I thought that was
Big
very
Tex,
funny.
big Gavin Newsom guy.
Oh, yeah, definitely not. Definitely a big anti-Gavin Newsom guy, but let's not get political.
Let's see. Who else got questions? I'm putting 2 minutes on the clock. In the next 2 minutes, I better see some questions, or we're going to have a problem. Tony got his questions in. Good job, Tony. Tony, did you ask some random questions again? He got his workouts in today. He said today is leg day. Tex.
Okay, Tony.
Tony's got this figured out. You never skip leg day.
Never skip leg day. Hey, Tony, you are ahead of the curve on that. If I had $1 for every time I've seen a person that's jacked up top and then their bottom looks like chicken legs, I'd be a millionaire.
Tex, you didn't skip leg day today, did you?
I haven't worked out yet, but I will definitely not skip leg day later today when I get home.
Okay, Tex isn't skipping leg day.
I'm doing it later, Tony. Don't worry.
The Chiefs report, we believe you never skip leg day under any circumstance. Even if you break your leg, you got to work out the other leg. That's how it works, right? Oh, yeah. Yeah, you break your leg, you work out the other leg. Don't skip leg day. Keep it going. Cardio, baby. Very important. Get your questions in. Use hashtag Chiefs for Super Chat to get on the mailbag portion of the show. I need Bill. I need Ethan. I need Terrence. I need all of y'all to get your questions in. Make life easier for me and for Big Tex. That way I can go home. Because I'll be honest, your boy's pretty tired right now. I would love to get home and enjoy a nice night. But I need you guys to get your questions in. That way I can do this segment and go home. Tony also says, I lift weights too.
Wow. I mean, don't you lift weights when you're doing legs, though?
Maybe so. Oh!
Oh.
Super check coming.
Michael. Legend.
That's a spicy jelly bean. Oh, fun. I'm going to have to get those from my desk. We'll pay that off before we wrap up the show. Yeah. Let's show Michael's super chat, and then Michael will pay off before we wrap up. Good to see Michael in here, getting a super chat. Michael, with a $20 super chat. Thank you, Michael. That's a spicy jelly bean. We'll pay that off before we get out of here. Michael, I'll give you a choice. We could do either the spicy jelly bean or Tex and I can each take a shot. I'll be honest, I think Tex and I would rather take the shot than we would the spicy jelly bean. But think about this, Michael. I'll give you the choice. The spicy jelly bean, only one of us does the jelly bean. If we do the shots, then Tex and I both take a shot. So I'll let you decide, and we'll pay that off before we end the show after this next segment. So stay tuned for that. Michael, thanks for the super chat. Tony's telling everybody to spam Michael. Why not? Spam Michael. Spam Michael for his $20 super chat. Much love. Thank you, Michael. Big Mike. Quick answer. Yeah, let's do that. Yeah. Since it's not a question, it doesn't need to be in the mailbag. Yeah. Let's see. Oh, Anthony's got something for Tex here. He said, I lift surfboards all day. Tex, come get on a board. You've been here before. He's in Hawaii.
That's electric.
Have you ever surfed?
I have. It's very hard to do. I've skied and snowboarded, and the learning curve is just so much higher, at least for me, doing that, to just stay above the water and, like, balance. People don't understand how hard it is to have core strength and balance when you're surfing, bro. It's hard.
Oh, thank God. Michael chose shots.
Oh, thank God. Michael, my stomach thanks you, bro. I've already been having stomach issues today, so no spicy jelly beans is a blessing.
We will gladly take those
Yes.
shots. We'll gladly take those shots. We'll pay those off after this next segment. Up next, let's do our mailbag segment. Use hashtag Chiefs or Super Chat to get on the mailbag portion of the show. You can continue to get your questions in as we're going along through the mailbag, and we'll go from there. Final segment begins right now. You're watching the Kansas City Chiefs Report, powered by Chat Sports. Tyler Jones here with you. Thanks for joining us. It is time to touch our bags and drop our sack on this edition of the program. You got questions, we got answers. This comes from the live show we do on Tuesday afternoons where you guys submit questions to us in real time, and then we react to them as the questions are rolling in. And you may be saying to yourself, man, I would love to be part of the next mailbag segment. Well, guess what? You're in luck, folks. If you subscribe now and turn on notifications, that'll make you a member of the Noti Gang. The Noti Gangs are the real ones that have their notifications turned on. They're the first to know when we have new content on the channel, like our live shows, our watch parties, our Q&A mailbags, breaking news, all of that. So subscribe now, turn on notifications, spam Noti Gang if you're in the Noti Gang, and we'll get started with today's program. Let's start with this from Casey Mo now. All right, could the Chiefs trade for Micah Parsons? Ooh, great question. Micah Parsons. So let's be honest here. The Dallas Cowboys are a bad football team. They have a lot of problems. They have not looked good to start the season, and I think that things are falling apart there very quickly. But with that said, you've already paid Dak. You've already paid CD. I think what's going to happen is that the Cowboys will find a way to pay Micah, and they're going to blame Mike McCarthy, make him the fall guy, fire Mike McCarthy and that coaching staff, and Jerry will say, hey, I gave Mike McCarthy the keys to win. It didn't make it happen, even though he didn't give him the keys to win, but, he'll say it. Like that offensive line sucks. They can't run the football. Their defense got worse, all of that. But nonetheless, I think they're keeping Micah. But if he is available, by all means, I would love to have Micah Parsons on my team. Should the Chiefs trade for Micah Parsons? Does Micah want to come play for a real winner? A real football team? The real America's team now, by the way. The Kansas City Chiefs. I'd like to have him here if it's a possibility. Should they consider it? I think they should if they can. Let us know. Type T for trade. P for pass. Weigh in. Next question comes from Terrence. Terrence wants to know, what the hell are we waiting for? What in the hell? We need a wideout. Who's left that can help us? Well, glad you asked. No Davante Adams. No Amari Cooper. So now we're looking at Mike Williams, Jalen Hyatt as possibilities here. Christian Kirk is out there. Who am I missing? I know I'm missing several others, but there are still plenty of wide receivers on the trade market potentially. And the question you ask, what are we waiting for? Well, here is what we're waiting for. Andy Reid told us that the Chiefs want to evaluate what they have internally and see what the options are. And if they continue to play well and stay healthy, then they might just roll with what they got. But if they struggle or if there's some injuries before the trade deadline, then they could potentially make a move. So in this cycle, if I had a graph of sorts, I would point it to here and say, you are at the evaluation phase. We have not reached the next phase that says must trade now. Now, maybe things change because you missed out on Cooper or Davante Adams. I didn't think they had much of a chance of Davante Adams anyway. But that's where we're at. That's why we haven't seen them make a move. Raiders stink. F the Raiders. F the Raiders. Commitment to excellence, my ass. My ass! Any chance the Chiefs could trade for Christian Kirk? Absolutely. It's certainly possible they could. I don't like the contract. I think Christian Kirk is highly overpaid. He was a part of that movement of receivers that we saw a couple years ago when the market just got astronomical. Thanks, Tyreek, for that. And Christian Kirk got way overpaid. He's a decent football player, but he sure as hell isn't worth the money that he's being paid. Not even close. He's looked decent to start the season, but the Jags are bad. They're going to be sellers. I think Dougie P is on his way out. Maybe he's the next Chiefs offensive coordinator potentially if Matt Nagy gets a head coaching job. That's a name to keep an eye on. But, yeah, they're going to be selling. They're going to be restarting there. Shad Khan probably should, shift his attention back to AEW, the wrestling league he owns, because he sure doesn't know a damn thing about football. Christian Kirk, he's a trade option, but it's not something I would recommend with that contract. I don't necessarily want to take that on. Should the Chiefs trade for Christian Kirk? Type Y for yes, N for no. Get in the comments section. Let us know if you think they should make that trade or not. Today's show is sponsored by our friends at Game Time. I have spent a lot of time over the years, folks, looking for tickets. And I've dealt with some shady people on the streets that, looking back, probably shouldn't have been buying tickets from them. Game Time is safe, effective, and easy when it comes to getting your tickets, folks. You don't have to worry about scammers. You don't have to worry about the prices being astronomical when you're deciding at the very last minute, you know what, I want to go to that Chiefs game. Because get this, folks, the prices go down the closer it gets to game time. It's in their name. Game Time has a new feature called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets to see your favorite teams play live even easier. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats. You don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. They have their super deals. If you see a super deal, that's going to be a deal you don't want to pass up on. They have their seat views, so you can get the visual, see what that seat is like. Your purchase is covered with the most flexible customer service policy in the ticketing industry. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code ChatSports for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem code CHATSPORTS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game Time. The link is in the comments and the description of today's video. All right, next question comes from SportsJet15. Hashtag Chiefs, do you think Travis Kelce should be treated, I think he means traded, if he keeps playing as he's been? Are we for real? Are we serious? Now, let me say this. I am firmly of the belief. I picked this up from my 6th grade teacher in middle school, and I still believe this to this day. There's no such thing as a stupid question. There's no such thing as a stupid question. I believe that wholeheartedly. But Travis Kelce is not an option. We're not trading Travis. That's just not happening. Get that out of your head. Get that out of your mind. Don't even think about it. Travis has played a lot better football the last couple of weeks. We're not trading Travis. Travis is going to retire as a member of the Kansas City Chiefs. No one is going to wear 87 ever again. He is the greatest tight end to play for this franchise. He still has a lot left in the tank. Not to mention the Chiefs are shorthanded at the receiver spot. Can't be losing any more guys at this point in time. I can't move on from Travis. No. We're not trading Travis. We're not doing that. No, thank you. Nope. Not going to do it. Nope. No way, Jose. Nope. Not even going there. Nice try, but nope, we're not getting rid of Travis. Absolutely not. Anthony Bryant says, would we consider Adam Thielen? Cheaper option. They have some left in the tank. Great red zone threat. Yeah. Adam Thielen, I think, would make a ton of sense. Contract's not bad. He seems like another guy that Andy would get a lot out of. Come to Kansas City, and all of a sudden he has a career resurgence of a year. He had 1,000 yards last year with bums like Bryce Young and Andy Dalton throwing him the football. If he stays healthy, he still has something left. Good possession receiver. And you talk about filling that role for Rashee Rice. Adam Thielen could be a good fit for that. I think that would make a lot of sense. Last question, Anthony, also right again. Would DK be an option? Or, of course, T. Higgins. Would like to have big physical receiver. DK, no. Seahawks aren't trading DK Metcalf. He's arguably the best player on that entire team. T. Higgins, I don't think the Bengals want to make the Chiefs better, but we've seen some crazy stuff before. I would take either guy in Kansas City gladly, but DK, no chance. T. Higgins, slim chance at this point, but I think the Chiefs would be happy to have either one. For continuing Chiefs coverage, subscribe now to the Chiefs Report. I'm Tyler Jones. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time. Should the Chiefs trade for Christian Kirk? Y for yes, in for no. Folks, Tex is going to take over for a few moments. I'm going to go get some shots.
Okay. Oh, yeah, to pay it off. Yeah. That's
Yes. If you want to talk Chiefs with Big Tex, if you want to make fun of him for being a Cowboy fan, by all means. If you want to talk about this upcoming weekend's game, if you want to talk about Gavin Newsom, Tex has got some thoughts. He'll take over for a few minutes. We'll take some shots, and then we'll sign off and call today. So, Big Tex, take it away. I'll be right back.
Cool. What's up, Chiefs Kingdom? Wrapping things up here. Tyler will be back momentarily. Here's our Super Chat menu. First-time Super Chatters get the KC chant. $5, you get the Mahomes song. $10 is shots. 20 is spicy jelly beans, and 50 is a beer bong. But yeah, let me know what you guys are up to. I see Mr. Sports Editor said, do you think they should make a move for a mid-talent receiver? It's a good question. Sorry we didn't see that in the mailbag. We ended up wrapping that up, I think, right as yours came through. That's a good question. Yeah, like Christian Kirk, I would say, falls under the mid-talent receiver level to lower end. I don't think you're going to be able to easily get someone like T. Higgins to Kansas City because he's more of a top-end talent. So I think that's more realistic. That's a good question, and I think that a mid-tier receiver is probably going to be a little bit easier for the Chiefs to, and Brett Veach for that matter, to, trade for, sign, whatnot. Let's see. No way for Kelsey? Yeah, I thought that was a bit of a crazy question, but I was trying to stir the pot a little bit for Tyler. Let's see. I see Jonah Wilcoxon says, look at the money saved for future if we can acquire T. Walker, T. Higgins. Yeah, I mean, definitely a good case you're making there, especially with the Minihue. That's a good point. It's a good point. Let's see. Oh, MVS for cheap? I don't hate that, Hiram. A little MVS reunion in Kansas City.
Tex, you want to take the first shot?
Yeah. I'll take the first one. Straight from the bottle. Everybody knows the rules.
Yes.
L'Haim.
Courtesy of Michael. Shout out, Michael.
Yes.
Michael.
Let me pop yours up, Michael, before I take this on your behalf, sir. Thank you for being so generous to us today. Give me 1 sec. Michael.
There we go.
Nothing like a...
That feel good?
Yeah, I needed that after a long day.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I need a shot, too. Then we'll sign off and call it a day. Michael, much appreciated. Thanks for sending that $20 super chat. I'll take this shot for you, then we'll sign off. More coverage on your Kansas City Chiefs throughout the week. Stay tuned. And a reminder, make sure to join us coming up on Sunday for Chiefs and Niners. Michael, cheers to you. There we go. Now I'm going to sleep like a baby. Folks, thanks for joining us for Big Tex. I'm Tyler Jones. Have a great night. We will see you next time.